Okay, I recorded the top 10 Canadians according to Canadian survey. Um, like I'm getting old, so I'll be 62 this Saturday. So it's a good way to look at all the greatest people in history. I even maybe give the dates. Okay, so now I'm gonna before I give the 10, I only know the top 10 of the last 1,000 years of A&E by heart, more or less. So I'll check, I'll give the top 100 of all time according to Michael H. Hart. I'll go quickly. Uh, so I'll start. Okay, so, well, I don't know. Actually, he's starting with the top on the list. Uh, okay, so according to according to Michael Hart, this is from 1992. Okay, so the person, what did he say? A ranking of the most influential person in history. Okay. Also, there's a distinction. It's the most influential people in history, not necessarily the greatest. I mean, some people make a discovery by accident, even. Okay, so anyway, so great. I mean, Einstein, for example, had a great mind. So, well, he had one Nobel Prize, but well, one day maybe should have had many more. There is the Einstein medal also created. Okay, so I'll start. So the top 100 people of all time, according to Hart, 1992. Okay, I'll try and go quickly. A bit of commentary. I didn't even read this yet, but okay. So the first, he puts number one as Muhammad, who lived around 570 to 632 AD. Uh, so, of course, he's the founder of the Muslim religion. They're celebrating Ramadan now. He praises Muhammad on the list. So he puts Muhammad first. There's about a billion Muslims in the world. I heard that even they all speak Arabic, but they, or I think anyway. But somebody told me that they cannot communicate really because they have many dialects of Arabic. Anyway, but it's about a billion people in the world who are considered Muslims. So, and I read this part. I read he said that I think Muhammad is unique in that he was also a political leader and also create a founder of religion. Okay, so that's the first one is Muhammad. Okay, that's debatable. I mean, I was surprised to see that, but anyway, he's like obviously has a lot of followers. Number two, he puts is Isaac Newton. I think it's really Sir Isaac Newton from 1642 to 1727. He lived about 84 years. Uh, Muhammad Muhammad lived about 62 years. Newton, of course, well, it's debatable, but he's the founder of the calculus, advanced mathematics. Him and Leibniz, I even heard there's some kind of Japanese guy. Uh, but also he helped unify the cosmos and the Earth well, at least for gravity and mass. It's the same laws in the cosmos and Earth. So he unified heaven and earth in a way. Aristotle used to have angels and the spirits. I mean, the planets were alive and everything because you had to explain the motion, which was not linear. So Newton, well, I argue against Newton, though he made the world uh, a material above and below because they're the same. But I argue no, on the contrary, maybe both the world above and below is spiritual. They're the same. Okay, make them spiritual, not material. Especially after Einstein, who had E equals mc squared, where he equated matter and energy, and also after Maxwell. Well, these guys were after Newton. Maxwell, who had independent electromagnetic waves, which is like a new kind of substance. Okay, so number two. Number three, okay, number three, he says is Jesus Christ. Okay, we don't know the exact date, but he says it's from around 6 BC to about 30 AD. So about 30, he lived about 36 years. Of course, he was killed. They say, well, Christianity is the biggest religion in the world now. There's about 2 billion people who follow it. I think, well, you have the New Testament, and so it's about 2 billion people who follow. It's the largest religion in the world right now. They say, well, many of them were Jewish. Jesus was supposed to be a Jew, I think, but some people say he was God, son of God or whatever, but so anyway, so he's number three according to this. Well, even though it's a bigger religion than in size than Islam, they put him as number three. And well, it seems this guy picks religious figures as on top here, because number four he says is the Buddha, which is 563 BC to 483 BC. Really, I don't know if it's a religion, because for him there was no God, so it's more like a philosophy. I think there's no immortality either, I think also. Another one here. And number five, he put Confucius, which is 551 BC to 479 BC. He wrote the Analects, I think, and some other influential Chinese work. I think Confucianism was dominant in China to around the year 2000. The year 1900, when Marxism took over communism. Although, well, you had new Confucianism also. I think Zhuxi or whatever was one of the major figures there hundreds of years ago. But Confucianism had a big influence. That's another book I didn't read, but he thinks that Confucius is, well, of course, there's for Buddha, that's from India, and there's over 1 billion people living in India today. Although Buddhism, I think, kind of disappeared or was absorbed into Hinduism, or it spread out to the other parts of the world, but and also in China, there's over 1 billion people living today, and so it's very influential there. A lot of products we get here are from China. Anyways, and they're very cheap. They're not very expensive. So Confucius is number five. I don't know if I would agree with this, but number six, okay, he puts St. Paul, 4 AD about till 64 AD, lived about 60 years. Well, really, he wrote many of the books of the New Testament, which is for the Christianity, the world's largest religion. He was Jewish, I think, and because Jesus did not write anything. I don't know what that means. That's interesting, but anyway. So St. Paul is considered number six. He wrote many works. So number seven, he puts as Tse Lun, which is he lived around 105 AD. Okay, he's supposed to be the inventor of paper. Well, before they used to have scrolls and all that, they used to write stone tablets. So that was very important. Of course, the person who invented the ballpoint pen is also important, because it was Before you used to use a feather and ink, so it was very hard. I use a lot of pens and papers still, although you can use the computer. But so say Loon was the inventor of the paper, so he puts him as number 7. Although paper is starting to vanish now because people are using more online things. Number 8, he puts Johann Gutenberg, for 1400 to 1468. He's called the inventor of the printing press. Though really, I think the Chinese had printing press before, but he might have created the movable printing press. I think he used got the idea from how they use a potato press or something. And of course, this was way before computers. I mean, this is 1400, 1468. He lived about 68 years, way before computers. I mean, today printing is done with computers much faster and much better. So he printed the Bible also and all that. Before that, it used to take monks months to copy one book by hand. So books were very expensive and very rare, and only rich people had libraries. Now you can get books. Well, people are getting rid of them because of the internet, but you can get books now very cheaply. And not only that, many books were lost because there were very few copies of them. Like the Dialogues of Aristotle are lost, and other works are missing. But some books were preserved for hundreds or thousands of years. Okay, so number 10 is Christopher Columbus from 1451 to 1506. Of course, he discovered America, they say, but he really was lost. He was I don't know if he was looking for a passage to India or something. Well, it's very confusing. The world is round. What does that mean? I wonder. It makes you wonder because it could be perception because gravity holds us, but don't forget that really gravity. We know gravity bends light. I mean, Newton's theory predicts that, but Einstein's theory says even double. And we use light to perceive the world, so the world appears round. But I wonder if it's because actually we use light to observe the world, and it's bent by gravity, which is gravity all around us caused by the Earth. We're very close to the ground, so gravity is very strong. So I wonder if the world appears round partly because of the fact that we use light to observe the world. Einstein discussed theory of relativity. General relativity is about gravity, but he never mentions the world emotion or perception or anything like that. It's just physics. No, it doesn't mention psychology really. But I wonder if a lot of the fact, that the world appears round um, is because of our perception. That we use light to perceive the world. We know that light is limited. It's in the world. It's electromagnetic waves, but in our mind, it's light. And our mind only sees part of the electromagnetic spectrum, visible range. There's also ultraviolet light and infrared. Infrared is heat, and there's also other and radio waves, of course, we use for communication. So there's other light. Also, not only that, we have problems like in quantum mechanics and relativity when the object is too small, so we distort it, or it's going too fast. So light is limited. The speed is 3 times 10 to the 8 meters per second. Newton made a mistake. He thought the speed of light was infinite, which was wrong. It's instantaneous. No, it's limited speed. So there are problems when we observe the world. I think that explains many of the problems with general relativity also. I think Tyson said that you have to give up common sense. And I said, no, I don't think so. Well, mentally ill people would love to hear that, but no, I think it's just that it's because of perception. And I don't think Einstein is right. I don't think the world is distorted by gravity or electromagnetic waves or whatever. I think it's simply that our perception is distorted. In fact, many people can observe the world, and if there's only one reality, so obviously it's their perception that is different. Okay, so again, so Christopher Columbus made a mistake, although it was, in those days he went by a ship, and it's very dangerous. I mean, at that time, I mean, for navigation and for, waves, and I mean, very, very dangerous to go on a cruise. So it took courage, and I think uh, Spain and financed his mission. I think he was Italian, but so finally so Queen Isabella or something is famous because of that. But it was very dangerous to go on those days in cruises. This is like 1451, 1506. So he lived like 55 years or something. I think Maimonides' brother went on a cruise around the year 1150 or something, and the ship was lost, and they lost all the family fortune at that time. So it was very dangerous to travel. I mean, don't forget there was maybe oars and sails. There was no engines. I mean, it was very hard to travel by ship in those days. Okay, well, here they put Einstein is number 10. In 1879 to 1955, he lived 76 years. There's also the Einstein medal. He wrote a lot. I read a bit of The Meaning of Relativity, which may be his major work, although he published in articles in famous physics journals. He got one Nobel Prize, but like I said, maybe he should have had several of them. But he has his own prize now anyway, so. Einstein, it's the way he thinks. I mean, it's very complicated. He actually, he brought the new math to physics, like tensor calculus, which from Ricci and Levi-Civita, and also non-Euclidean geometry into physics. So that's what made it famous. That's what revolutionized physics, really. Non-Euclidean geometry was Riemann and Lobachevsky and Gauss and all those great mathematicians. But in a way, I think also maybe Max Born should be here, because he brought the new math to quantum mechanics, physics also, because you had he brought the new math, which was probability calculus, probability theory, into physics by interpreting Schrödinger wave function, the phi function, which he got wrong. Richard Feynman, also a Nobel Prize winner and famous for uniting special relativity and general special relativity and quantum mechanics in quantum chromodynamics, praised in a lecture Max Born as the god of quantum mechanics because of his idea of the probability density function, since Schrödinger had it wrong. Okay, so these are the top 10. I don't know if I should continue here. So Einstein is number 10.